This is obviously a really important debate that we're having right now in terms of the role of business and its relationship with the broader community. I think it's particularly important really for two reasons. First, when people look at business, there's a sense that standards have slipped in a way that's unacceptable to the broader community across a broad range of businesses. And so focusing on that standard, where standards are, I think is very important. And obviously, we're going through a phase now. It's not a new phase. It's something that's been with us for some time, but will be with us for some time into the future, globalization. And as big multinationals build their global footprints, do they lose touch with the communities in which they operate? And so, to me, those are the two reasons that really lie behind some of what we're talking about today. So it's obviously a really, really important debate. Clearly, as a CEO, I have absolutely no issue with the concept that a business has to be connected with its local community. I just don't see how you have the license to operate, how you run a business in the long term if you're not connected in a very direct and specific way with the communities in which you operate. And this is much more than CSR. I think the Prime Minister spoke about this in the last couple of weeks. It's much more. It has to be much broader than a CSR program. We can't operate in a world where it's all about giving back, because really what that implies is that for the rest of the time you're taking. There has to be a balance. The relationship between business and politics, between business and the community, there has to be a construct there that operates, that's in balance, and there's harmony. And so you get away from this sort of, taking and giving back concept. And I think that's very, very important. Now, we at Goldman Sachs are obviously a service business. And when I think about us first and foremost in terms of the community, it's really the business that we do. And the business that we do day in and day out, our 6,000 people in London or our 33,000 people around the world, what they're doing has to be to the benefit of the community at large. Obviously, we finance companies. We advise them as they navigate difficult business decisions. Growth requires investment. If you're making investments, that necessarily involves risk. We help people think through risk and how to manage risk. That's all part of our day-to-day life, and I think we contribute significantly to the community in that sense, because ultimately that leads to growth, and obviously a growth in employment, which is critical. But I don't think we can stop there. I don't think that goes far enough, because if you ended the discussion with our business drives growth, the real question is, how does that growth get used? How does that growth get shared? Does it benefit the entire community, or does it just benefit the organization that you represent? And so I think you have to think more creatively about growth and how to spread that and spread the benefit of growth across the entire community. And we at Goldman Sachs have spent a lot of time thinking about exactly that issue. We've done a lot of our own research. We spent time with the World Bank looking at this. And where we came down was, it's really comes down to education and how we can support and drive education that in turn can drive growth, and particularly in small businesses. We spend our days really working with big companies. We all know that most of the employment creation in any economy is really driven by the smaller enterprises. And so we wanted to move in that direction. And we've really set up two signature programs globally. The first we've called 10,000 Women. It's aimed at female entrepreneurs in the developing world. Our target is, over a period of time, to put 10,000 female business leaders. These are people driving small businesses, 5 employees, 10 employees, 20 employees, giving them access to really world-class business education, mentoring, and support. Over the last 4 or 5 years, we've put 5,500 people, 5,500 women through this program. I think the response to it has been terrific. It's in places like Rwanda, Nigeria, Bangladesh, very important. On a bigger scale, and this is now in the developed world, the US and the UK, we've got this program which we call 10,000 Small Businesses. And this is taking slightly larger businesses, not significantly larger, and giving them access to the same concept, education, business management. We launched it in the UK just over a year ago. We started in Leeds. We've now brought it to London. We're in 5 different locations. And we're putting these businesses and giving them access to such education. We've had 240 businesses through the program so far. By the end of this year, we hope to get to 400, and we hope to continue to roll it out. And it's just an example of how we're trying to drive ourselves to think in an innovative way about how do we unlock our thinking, our capital, our experiences to the benefit of the broader business community. We obviously touch the big companies directly, as I indicated, but how do we indirectly impact the broader community? And so that's where I'll leave it. But just the final thought: you cannot run a business in the long term. You cannot have a sustainable business unless you are connected with the local community and the communities in which you operate.